What does your favorite Arcane character say about you according to a psychology graduate student? Oh, darling Silco. I bet a lot of you just think I'm going to say daddy issues, don't you? Now that disappoints me. And do you know why? It's because I know that you deserve a lot more than that. But here's the question. Do you think that about yourself? I know there's been a lot of fear, dread, anticipation, and every other emotion circling around what I'm gonna say because this is the bad guy. We're not supposed to like the bad guy. Why would we like him? Why would he be our favorite character? And what does it say about us? And much like I said in my Victor video, if you like Loki, it says some things about you. And the same thing is true for you. So go ahead, get your juice box, because it's about to get painful in here. If Silco is your favorite character, it says a couple different things about you. Starting at the top, you're not the strongest person physically. And I know some people are like, I'm not strong emotionally either. We're gonna get to there. But specifically in the physical realm, you're not exactly a bodybuilder. You were never picked first for any teams that had anything to do with sports, but you are a sharp mind. Now, whether or not that is academically smart, it doesn't really matter. There are many different types of intelligence. There's emotional intelligence, there's cunning, there's being able to be charismatic. There are so many different types of intelligence, and that is where you fall. You value your brains over what your muscles can do. And much like Silco, you understand when he was saying that it's not the strongest people that inherit, it's not what you are born into, it's what you can do. You admire his drive, his ability, his desire to change things around him. Now, did he change it for the best? Probably not, but he tried. And you admire somebody who raises himself up from his circumstances, says, I'm not going to accept what is at the bottom of people's boots. I am going to stand up and I'm going to take what I want. And that drive, that passion is really exciting to you. No matter what the circumstance may have been, you have been treated unfairly in your life. Whether that is for a physical disability, whether that is for a mental disorder, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, you have been given an unfair thing in your life. And unfortunately, it has shaped you into different types of perspectives. And note, I do say unfortunately, because there are some good things that can come. You can get stronger, you can get more present, you can have empathy for people, and we're going to get into that. But it is also okay to acknowledge when you have been hurt. A lot of times people will say, well, you know, that experience made you stronger. You didn't need to be stronger. What happened to you was not okay. And it doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you stronger for that. It hurt you. And that's okay to have something hurt you. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you broken. It doesn't make you undeserving of love. It just means that you were hurt. And that wasn't your fault. And you have this ability to take something that happened and make it your fault. You will look at something and be like, well, if I had said something different, and if I had been better, if I had been stronger, if I had been faster, if I was just a different brain than what I have, then I would have handled that situation differently. That person wouldn't have left me. This would have happened a different way. Baby, it's not your fault. And I think that you really need to say that to yourself. It's not your fault. And it's okay. And now looking at Silco with Jinx, where a lot of people got their love and their compassion for him. And this is where you go, oh, here's the daddy issue. She's finally getting to it. Don't underestimate me. You are the kind of person that saw the relationship between Jinx and Silco and it hurt something so deeply inside of you. And there's a certain phrase that you really love. And if you haven't heard it before, you're welcome. It is saying that a hero will sacrifice you to save the world. A villain will burn the world to save you. And oh, how desperately you want to have someone who would pick you first, because no one ever has in your life. You are not used to being someone's first choice. You are used to being convenient. You're there, you have friends, and you may have some really good friends, but you don't ever feel like you're their first choice. You don't ever feel like someone would pick you and say, I choose you over everything in the world, especially when Silco chooses Jinx over this dream that he has, this want that he has. How badly do you want someone to choose you first, or at least text you back? You want so badly to be important to somebody, and not just a passing engagement, not just a passing shallow relationship. You hate shallow relationships. You would not want to have 1,000 fair weather friends. You would give the world for one best friend, one partner, somebody who looks at you the way that Jinx looks at Silco and the way Silco looks at Jinx. That desire to be so loved, to be so valued, to be seen as perfect because you believe that you are not. A lot of people who love Silco love him the way that Jinx does. When he looks at her as he is in his final moments and says, "Don't cry, you're perfect." How much that broke your heart because you believe that you are wrong. Even when everything was falling apart, he didn't do what Vi did when Vi slapped her and said, "You're a Jinx, you ruin everything." He just looked at her and said, "You're perfect," because he knew that she would internalize what she had done and it would be just one more thing in the list of why she's wrong. How badly you wanted someone, and it doesn't just have to be daddy issues. It is anybody in authority. How badly you wanted teachers to say that you were smart. You want your mom to be proud of you. You want bosses to like you. You want your peers to like you. Anybody in a position of authority, you so badly want them to look at you and say, "I'm so proud of you." And very much like I had in the Vander analysis, they are two sides of the same coin. They flip roles because Silco represents what we all loved in Vander, but he didn't do it right away. It had to be earned. There was trust built up between the two of them, and how he says a daughter is an undoing. You want to be someone's undoing, and that's okay. It doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you toxic. You just want someone to love you that deeply. Or you're on the flip side, where you know how it feels to be in that position, to feel like nobody cares about you, and instead of closing yourself off, you made it your mission to make sure that the people in your life don't feel the way you do. You made sure to put yourself in a position so no one would ever feel left behind, and you became that kind mentoring figure to somebody in your life because you want nothing more than to have someone look at you the way that Powder looked at Silco when she launched herself on him and he held her and said, "We will show them." You have such a heart for those who are lost, who are hurt, who see themselves as broken. God help you if you look at an ASPCA commercial. You can't go into a pet shelter. You cannot handle somebody looking at you with big eyes saying, "I need help. Please protect me. Please keep me safe." How much would it mean to you to have someone look at you and say, "You make me feel safe. You make me feel seen. Thank you for protecting me." I'm just going to give you a second to let that marinate because I know how it feels. I'm not sure what's worse for you, your fear of abandonment or your fear of disappointment. ¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both? They are right there because, man, are you terrified of being left. You are terrified of being abandoned and disregarded because you have been in your life, probably more than once. And because of that, it's very difficult for you to form meaningful connections with people that have that level of love and care and need in them. You can, and you probably do have them, but it took time. You had to trust that person. For Silco to trust Jinx with putting the thing in his eye was just a symbol of love and trust between them, putting him in a vulnerable position. How difficult is it for you to be vulnerable, sincerely vulnerable? Because when you were in the past, you were hurt, you were abused. It was used against you and honestly made to make you believe it was your fault. It wasn't your fault. You matter. And I am so proud of you for staying here, for choosing to be here every single day, and for choosing to be kind to people. You are wonderful, and you are safe, and you deserve to be chosen first. Thank you for staying here with me, and I'm going to see you in the next part. Stay classy, my darlings.